Do you take risks? Are you afraid to take risks? Are you the person you want to be? Well, Skip Pritchard believes that risk is directly connected to opportunity. Every opportunity must have an element of risk or there will be no benefit, and that risk is the cost of opportunity. So do you want the opportunity to change your perspective and even your life? Well, I believe there are three main benefits to taking a risk. One being you have fun, two, you gain memories, and three, you become a new person. I want everyone to start taking chances every day. When you do take risks, you tend to have a lot of fun. With the distraction of all the fun you're having, you can overcome your fears. However, some people chicken out or don't take a risk because they are afraid. This is just one of the hurdles that you must overcome. However, knowing the difference between a positive and a negative risk can help with this. A positive risk results in a positive outcome, whereas a negative risk results in a negative outcome. So if you're about to take a risk, stop and think. Number one, is this a positive or a negative risk? If it's a negative risk, don't take that chance. But if it's a positive risk, go on to step two. Step two is analyzing your fears and getting over them. Well, everyone has fear. However, Theodore Roosevelt believes that we should do one thing every day that scares us. Once I found this quote, I have tried to live by it, and I found that it made my life so much more enjoyable. Even though I was scared, it doesn't mean I was going to turn around or back down from this challenge. But what was my fear? Failure. I have had the fear of failure many times. This happens a lot in sports, in school. For example, in sports, I think just because someone's watching me, I'm going to mess up. But I've also learned that at times I can have a negative perspective. But a negative perspective makes you lose your confidence. If you lose your confidence, you have a bad experience. If you have a bad experience, you tend to not want to take risks again. This is bad because you're losing the opportunity to have fun and make memories. My mentor is Mr. Henderson, and when I asked him if he takes risks for the memories, he said, I don't really think about it. It's sort of an afterthought or a result from taking a positive risk. He also thinks memories are a product of trying new things. So if you're still unsure if you want to take risks, think, are you going to risk not taking a risk because you're afraid? You can't have a negative perspective like I do at times. You have to have a positive one and think, I could become a new person after this. With a new one, to take chances, you can look for role models to inspire you. However, you have to be careful, because if you try too hard to be like your role model, you lose sight of who you are and who you want to be. After all, Dr. Seuss said, why blend in when you're born to stand out? When I asked Mr. Henderson who his role model was, he said it was his dad. He said his dad is always challenging himself and trying something new. He said it inspired him his whole life to try new things. My dad is also my role model, but where did it all begin? Well, it began when I was 3 years old. We were camping with my family, and I was scared to go hiking because all the boulders were bigger than I was. He took me on what is now known as my confidence course, which was a trail that started off easy but gradually got harder. Any point during the trail that I got nervous, he took me by the hand and said, you can do this. I naturally just said, okay. Whenever I got to the top of my little mountain, he said that I did good, and he's been my role model ever since. Taking that risk back then helped me learn who I was and who I truly wanted to be. When I asked Mr. Henderson how taking a risk can help someone in their future, he said, I think it leads to a learning process. If you try something new, it can lead to other opportunities down the road. Taking chances also helps you gain personality and character. With this newfound personality and character, you become a new person. You can also become a role model to those around you who are still scared to take risks. Think of hikers. They don't go out and take a hike because someone told them to. No, they do it because what they wanted to do, because they enjoy it. Think of the mountain bikers. Sure, they all go on the same trail, but they choose their own path through the trail based on their level of experience and their level of confidence. So do you truly want to have pure fun, experience exciting times, and grow as a person? Well, unless you take chances, you can't. Because taking a risk is like climbing a ladder. Each step you take is a risk, and the higher you climb, the more likely you are to get scared, climb down, or even fall. So whether your ladder be short, tall, sturdy, or wobbly, with the right amount of confidence, you can climb any of these ladders with ease. Ron Ashkins reminds me of an experiment where mice are conditioned to behave in certain ways. With good behavior, they receive sugar cubes. With bad behavior, they receive electric shocks. With the patterns being random, the mice who constantly receive the electric shocks just give up. They stop taking the risk because they know if they'll do anything, they'll get hurt. So if you're still afraid to take chances, think about this quote by Skip Pritchard. He said, we are still human, so unfortunately, failure is inevitable. But it's what happens after failure that is most important. Just like the mice, people are afraid to take risks because they're scared. But whether your risk be something small, such as talking to someone new, or something as big as going bungee jumping, I challenge all of you to start taking chances every day.